Welcome to the Imagine Me podcast. Imagine me, imagine you, imagine us. I am Lily Price.
And I am Tyshaune Toney.
Imagine yourself in a space where women can laugh and learn to value themselves by creating a deeper relationship with the divine. Imagine yourself free. What do you imagine? Welcome to the Imagine Me podcast. I am Lily Price.
And I'm Tyshaune Toney.
And I just want to give a shout out to Lucas Live Media for giving us another episode. Here we go. We still here.
We're still here.
I don't know how many episodes we've shot, but we're still on the couch.
Yes. And thank you for the views.
Oh, yeah.
Really
we appreciate that.
it.
Yeah. And drop some more comments. We want to get feedback. We want to reply. We want to have conversation with you. So let us know how we're doing. Let us know if you have questions. Ty.
Yeah.
We starting this off right.
Right.
I had a very bland meal. Is that the right word?
Yeah. No
Isn't it?
flavor. No flavor.
No flavor. I'm going to tell you why. So I know this guy, and it's my husband's brother, right? And he was supposed to stop by this past week and drop off some Pops seasoning. Did he do it? He didn't do it. So my whole meal was jacked. Okay.
Oh, well, I'm going to need you to put him on blast. What's his name?
Steve Beatty,
Okay.
Pop Seasoning.
All right, Steve.
So I'm going to grab one of these. I don't know if the viewers can see it or not, but Pop Seasoning, original Pop Seasoning, my boy Steve Beatty, my brother-in-law. So what had happened was he was like, yeah, stop over my boy's house. I left you some. Why I got to stop over your boy's house when you're my brother-in-law? Come drop it off. But then I popped up in Lucas Live studio, and what I see? So Steve, I'm putting you on blast today. But for those of you who have not tried Pop Seasoning, give it a try. It's the best. I put it on my chicken. I put it in my spaghetti. I put it on roast. I put it on steak. I mean, you name it. And I'll tell you what, the lemon pepper, yeah, that one, the lemon is so good with chicken. Like, so good, especially if you put it on the grill. So try it out, Pop Seasoning. So besides that, how was your weekend?
Excuse me.
It
was fine. I was with my kids all weekend. Well, my son had a wrestling match.
Okay.
And it wasn't that long, which I was kind of glad about because they could not.
Really?
But
okay.
Yeah, but I kind of felt bad because he tried to be in the higher bracket. It was like 20 pounds higher.
Be careful what you say, because he might see this.
He was in the 20-pound higher bracket. And I'm like, son, come on. It's your first year. Like,
Yeah.
come on. Like, I know you want to do better. I'm like,
But
you gotta.
he's Killer Cam. Come on, you gotta
But-
give him credit.
But he gotta get,
Yeah, I
the
understand.
technique down on that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Like, he don't know much about it yet. So when he went against a larger boy,
Right.
and the boy basically pinned him down.
Oh no, not Killer Cam.
Yes.
He took him down.
And then, sorry, son, he started crying.
Oh no.
I felt bad, but then I had to pull him over to me and tell him, like, listen, from what you told me, you decided to be in the higher bracket. You can't be crying
Right.
because somebody 20 pounds heavier than you pinned you down when
Right.
you put yourself in that position.
Right.
I said, if you're going to cry, though, go in the corner, go in the bathroom by
He said,
yourself,
Go in the corner and cry.
cry, and
Okay.
come back with it together.
That's that mama advice.
Yes.
If you gonna cry, cry in the corner.
Yeah, you can cry. Anybody saying you can't cry. But you got to bring it back.
Shout out to Killer Cam. I'm so impressed with you stepping out of your comfort zone.
Mhm.
Killer Cam, stepping out of your comfort zone, but now you know you just got to take it at a pace. I know wrestling is very strategic.
Mhm.
It's a strategy. It's not always about who's stronger.
Mhm.
It's about the strategic, fundamental part of it, like how to grab, how to hold, how to start off, all of that kind of stuff. So shout out to Killer Cam.
Yeah. But he's going to be great one day.
Oh, I know he will.
He's just got to get
Yeah.
everything down, so he's going to be really good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I decorated rooms this weekend. It took me all day in a day. My room looks like crap, but the kids' rooms look great. They look phenomenal. So we're just gonna jump in today because we're talking about our kids, we're talking about our weekends. And we're not the only ones that spend time with our kids, right?
Yeah.
They have parents, right? They have other parents besides their mom.
Yes. Yeah.
And both of us are in co-parenting situation. Yeah. And so I just want to throw this out. Today we're going to be talking about co-parenting. And before we jump in, me and Ty, we talked about this. Whatever we say, if you try it and it doesn't work, don't come back hollering at us, right? No, I'm just teasing. What I want to say is this. In order to co-parent, you have to have two parents that are agreeing to utilize these strategies. Because I don't want people to kind of walk away from this conversation and say, okay, I tried that and it didn't work. Well, that's because whoever you co-parenting with isn't in alignment. So I just want to throw that out. This co-parenting topic can be just a struggle to
Yes.
kind of identify even where to start and where to end.
So touchy.
It is touchy because there's so many factors that go along with co-parenting.
One situation is different.
Exactly. Because you have co-parenting situations where children have been raised in the same home with a parent and maybe that parent has left the home. You also have baby mama co-parenting, like where it was like y'all were never really together, you know, but she was popping that gum and you liked that she was popping that gum. And the next thing you know, she was popping out a baby. You know what I'm saying? So you don't really know each other, but you know what I'm saying? But you have a kid and you have to learn how to communicate. So there's these different relationships that later create co-parenting relationships. And I really wanted to talk about this, and I believe you did too, because when we call ourselves believers, we're believers until we got a baby daddy.
Or baby mama.
Right, or baby mama, because you will tell them off, right? And I think in my journey personally, co-parenting was something that I had to learn and that I still have to learn. And it's been on my heart for some time to have this discussion more openly because I think there are a lot of folks out there, and I don't want to just say women. I mean, primarily there's a lot of single mothers, like, right? Like we very seldom talk about our single dads. Shout out to the single dads because there's a lot of single dads out there that do not get the credit that they deserve for being single dads. However, I do always like to talk from a woman's perspective.
Well, you're a woman, so.
Am I? Am I a woman? Is it because my shoulder's out today? No, I do like to talk from a woman's perspective because I know what it's like to be a woman and I know what that emotional part is. And so for me, a lot of the co-parenting decisions that I started off making were more emotional based. And so now I have to understand in the co-parenting situation that it's not about me and my emotions. And I think that there are a lot of women who co-parent based off of, okay, all right, Lord, thank you, emotion, rather than seeking God. In my situation, I was very much, seeking God, thinking that I was, doing the right thing. I'm laughing because I used to tell him off. You know what I'm saying? Thinking that I was doing the right thing, but I was not. And I think a lot of times as believers, we do that. Aren't there times in your life where you have felt like, yeah, this is right. Like my heart is right. I'm doing this right. I love the Lord. And maybe not even just in co-parenting, just in life.
Yeah.
And you feel like, yeah, I'm doing the right thing. And it's the absolute wrong thing. Have you ever been in that situation? Yeah, like that's how this co-parenting thing was with me. So the trauma, the heartache, even financial stuff. So we're going to talk about that, you guys. We're going to talk about all of these things. How do you co-parent? If you don't mind me asking.
Well, I try to co-parent as peacefully as I can. I'm not with drama and all the extraness. I feel like when we discuss anything, it should just be about the kids. That's it. Like there's no other thing to talk about. Like
Right.
even if it's as simple as, oh, did you cook today? What you cook for dinner?
Why are you asking me?
Yeah. Like the kids are going to eat dinner.
So can I interject?
Sure.
Why is that annoying? Look, you didn't even say it was annoying.
It is as respectfully as I can. I feel like it's annoying because we're not in a place that I want us to be in as far as co-parenting is concerned. I do have my opinions on how things have gone and kind of, um,
Like transpired?
yeah, yeah. So I'm trying to like deal with it and then help my kids
Right.
deal with it and handle it. I'm not saying everything I do is right either,
Yeah.
but the things that they're telling me that's kind of affecting them a little bit. Like, okay, how can I help you get through this?
Right.
How can your dad and I help you get through this? What do we need to do to, you know, but it's also hard to talk to both parents when both parents don't feel like they're wrong. Like there's an
Yeah.
area that they're like, well, no, they didn't tell me that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how anything's wrong with that,
Yeah.
but you're doing this, but you're doing that.
Yeah.
And it's just like, we're not going to base this upon what you're doing, what I'm doing. That's what I'm trying to do. Just trying to help them understand what's going on. You know, it changes a lot. A lot has happened in the last year. Like, so the annoyances comes from not being
I
able
love how
to,
you're tapping into your home.
like, not co-parenting the right way
Yeah.
and like putting our own emotions and feelings aside of the situation. As we all know, I was married for a very long time.
Yeah.
So of course there's still some emotion there, but you know, when we said we moved on, it should be that,
Right.
you know. And again, it should be about the children, not
Right.
about us.
Right.
And that's where I struggle at.
Yeah.
Yes, that's where I struggle at.
Okay. I appreciate that because I think that that's a real thought. And so, no, that's not a real thought. That's a real emotion. And I'm just saying for women, like even growing up, prior to me having kids, I've been around environments where women will say, like, you can't see your children because you living with a new woman,
Oh, no.
or you can't see your children because you ain't paying child support,
Mhm.
or you can't see your kids because I don't feel like it today. I just want to give you a hard time.
See,
Like,
I don't like that. I
yeah,
feel like
and
it's putting them in the middle.
I agree. But I think that these are the conversations that need to be had because whether you're a believer or not, right? We have to identify when our kids come first. And so if you are using your children as leverage because you're upset about something, you're hurting them
Mm.
as well. For me, I would pick out all of the things that, maybe the other person was doing wrong and base it off of like that emotion. I was never the type of person that was like, okay, you can't see your kids.
Mhm.
And I think when it comes to the co-parenting part, when it comes to the finances, the trauma, and all of those things, we just really have to identify what's more important. Um, how do you feel about the financial part? Like fathers or mothers, right, that don't pay child support but want to see their kids and have these relationships.
Well, for me, I don't base that upon seeing their kid because that has nothing to do with seeing their kid. Because I
Yeah,
don't want to punish my children if the situation came up. I wouldn't want to punish them for how I feel about
right.
financial situation. Even vice versa, I think
Yeah,
that my kid's father wouldn't do that either.
yeah,
Because my kids can see their dad whenever they want to. It doesn't matter how mad I am at him. If I was in a place of hating him, I didn't like him, I would never be like, no, y'all can't go see your dad because I can't stand him. Now, there are things that I disagree with,
yeah,
but he's still their dad.
right.
And I cannot just stop them from doing it.
Yeah,
It is difficult, very, very difficult. Um, I don't always like when they go over there or go, too long because I do feel like it causes them to like think of the situation. Okay, our
yeah,
dad's here, our mom is there. Our dad has a person, our mom's probably gonna get a person. You know what I mean? Like,
right. No, you mean probably. You are. Speak that.
okay,
Speak that.
we'll get a person. May have a person.
Right.
But I just think it's like a lot of thought. They
Yeah.
have a lot of thought. And then, having conversation with their father or mother-in-law, stepmom, not mother-in-law.
Right.
Ooh,
Like really trying to identify what's
stepmom.
the title.
Yes, I know. But like, I don't know. It's so
Yeah.
like, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. So trying to process that, trying to figure out how to deal with this is really
I know.
touchy. This
It's
is
here's the thing though. How you're talking right now is how a lot of people feel.
mhm,
And I mean, sometimes I feel this way too. Like you're trying to identify what's the boundary, right? Um, where is the boundary with co-parenting? What do we talk about? What things are necessary and what things are not necessary? Some of the conversation that I've heard people talk about are like even friendships and co-parenting.
mm,
Like, can you still be a friend with your baby mom or your baby dad or your ex wife or your ex husband? And what's the boundary, especially like if you have someone else in your life? You know what I
mhm,
mean? Appreciate that part. There's so many different layers to co-parenting. I think on the financial part, for me, it's more important for a parent to be involved with their child rather than money. And I also feel like it's especially if you've lived in a home, if you're a father or a mother, but right now I'm going to talk about fathers because I'm coming from a woman's perspective. So for me, this is how I think. If you're a father and you've lived in a home with your kids, you know how much that costs, right?
yeah,
so
yeah,
so there you go. If you want to pay that, then pay it. If you don't, I'm not forcing you to because I'm not putting that much energy into you, right? Because you have to deal with God on what you're doing. And if you feel like that's okay, and I think there's going to be a lot of women that probably disagree. Well, you don't know my situation. You don't know where I'm at. He's doing X, Y, and Z, and I'm struggling. That could be so. But for me, then focus on you. Live based upon your means. You know what I mean? And try to, focus on your purpose. Try to focus on what it is that you feel is going to make your situation financially better. I'm a trust God person, but I do believe that once we start attacking people and going after people, it just exerts so much energy. It just takes so much energy out of the situation. One of the things for me personally, I feel like if a woman can take care of her kids financially and do well, then don't do it. Don't attack them for child support. Um, but if you feel in your spirit that God is leading you that way, that you need to go down there, then go down there. Do whatever you feel best. But I do believe that child support, finances, all those different things, they don't really have anything to do with a father having a relationship with their child. Um, and that is something that I think a child is more well developed. I feel like they're more happy when they see that both of their parents get along. So, just to be pretty transparent, I had to fake it before I made it. I mean, there was a time where listen, when when they would mention his name in the house, I'd be like, "Ugh, I hear about this every single day." But that's their dad. You know what I mean? And they want to talk about their dad. But once you create a space where they can't, then you're putting yourself in a situation where they can't even talk to you now.
mhm,
They'll come back home and you're like, well, how was your time over there? Silence. Oh, we just did this. We just did that, like robots.
mhm,
I want my kids to come home and talk about their time, feel comfortable talking to me about the time that they've spent. And I think another huge part about co parenting is just being confident in being a good parent. You know what I mean? And trying to take the focus off of the other person and not really worry about what their situation is. Oh my gosh. Another thing is like looking at what they have or what they're doing. Oh, you got a new job? You know what I mean? Oh, so you money bags Malone now, right? It's like doing those types of things.
mm,
It's like just focus on the kids. Once we get to that part, I think it's just easier. But co-parenting, there's so many different layers to it. In relationships, people get hurt. Maybe the separation for parents not being together anymore could be trauma, right? It could be physical abuse, it could be emotional abuse, it could be cheating. It could just be lack of communication. It could be finances. There's so many reasons why parents separate or why they're not together in the first place, right? You have your one night stands, you have your oops, you got a baby, you know what I mean? That kind of thing. There's so many reasons why people could not be together, right? And I think when we die to self It really kind of identify that those things don't have anything to do with the child. Having a relationship with the other parent, it makes it so much easier. Um, yeah, there can be trauma. Yeah, there can be cheating. Yes, there can be financial things that have happened. But what does that have to do with a child being around their mother or their father, whoever is missing from the home? But I also feel like it's an opportunity for people to work on themselves.
I was about to say that.
Yeah.
I was about to
Yeah.
say, I just think it's best if you get to that point and if you find yourself um, worrying about what the other person's doing, what's going on, it's time to sit back and take time for yourself.
Yeah.
Like you shouldn't be worried about what your person was doing, whether you decided to leave or they left you or whatever the case may be, because you have to be okay for your children at the end of the day, which both of you. So when they go see dad, he needs to be in the right mindset, you know, in a place of peace where he can enjoy his children and talk to his children and,
Mhm.
get to know them more and where they're at because things do change when, one person leaves the house.
Right.
Or if they're in a case, I guess, if they had to be with dad for a week and then be with me for a week, then be with dad for a week and be with me. If it came to something like that, that's a lot too. Like that's a lot of back and forth. And then I have my way of doing things. He has his way of doing things. Maybe his person has a way of she does things. My person might have a way of they do things. And it's just different. It's a whole lot. So I think taking care of yourself
Mhm.
and, you know, finding God and like asking him, like, Lord, please, like, help me do this the right way.
Right.
Help me and their dad or
Yeah.
mom do this the right way.
Right.
I think that's where a lot of us struggle.
I like how you said that you just flat out just go and ask God, help me. Because that's the part with anything in life, right? That we need to be like, okay, I don't know how to do this.
Hmm.
I don't know what I'm doing. So how do I do it? When you became a single mom, did you know how to do that?
I had no
No,
idea.
because you had no idea.
Never been in it.
Right. And I remember when I was pregnant with my oldest son, my dad saying, what happens with you and their dad has nothing to do with him. His relationship with his son has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with you. So you need to stay out of it. So that was always a thing with me. If you want to come see him, come see him. If you want to come pick him up, come pick them up. That don't mean I ain't gonna cuss you out in the process,
I
right?
say, but how do you deal with that?
Right, right,
How do you deal
right.
with that though? Other parent is worried about what you got going or is like just trying to like like
I know what you mean. So look, let me clarify because I did leave off saying that don't mean I'm gonna cuss you out in the process. So for our listeners, that doesn't mean that cussing them out is right.
Mhm.
I'm just being transparent about how I handle things. Um, I wasn't always with the father of my children early on in the relationship and in latter years, right? So we had 2 stints of me being a single parent and us learning how to co-parent with each other. And I think there's a variety of things. And to your point, what if the other person can't let go? You still have to create some type of boundary. And I think you still have to be you, right? So for me, it's just understanding that, hey, okay, listen, when I'm yelling at this person or when my kids feel this energy coming from me, they're hurting. What this person did to me has nothing to do with their love for their kids, and it's
Yeah.
not about you. And once I start to get that through my head, co-parenting was so much easier for me. The other thing I had to identify was, and this is nothing against that person, but I didn't want them anyway. You see what I'm saying? I think sometimes we get caught up in the fact of they've moved on, you've moved on, and we're so focused on looking at their life instead of looking at what God has for us that we're distracted. Really sit back and think, do you want to be with that person? No. Or is it the pride, right?
Comfort.
The comfort, the pride, of like, these are our kids,
Mhm.
right? Or I'm the one that's sitting here taking care of these kids and you at the club. Like, let's have the real conversation,
Mhm.
right? Like, oh, they're out and about doing X, Y, and Z, and I'm the one that's sitting here. Oh, you're traveling. You might be here or there, and I'm the one that's sitting here. But if you were with them, right? If you were married to them, if you were with them, if you were still in a relationship with them, wouldn't you still be the person that's taking care of your kids?
Mm.
Like, if you really look at it in that aspect. So, for all the women out there who might feel that what I'm saying is a little touchy, if you get mad at your baby dad because he's at the club or because he has another woman or because he might, I don't know, go out of town or even move and leave. A lot of these parents, they leave, you know what I mean, to better themselves, find another job, because there might not be anything around them. So then they leave and they feel like, oh, you just left or you just did X, Y, and Z. For all of these women that feel that way, let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go because it doesn't have anything to do with you. Because at the end of the day, whether you are with them or whether you're not, you still have to be a parent and you still have to be the mother. You still have to be the nurturer and you have to be the provider. When we talk about the virtuous woman, she wasn't laying on her back having babies. The virtuous woman, she was a businesswoman. We talked about this before. She had her own business and she ran the house. First one up, last one asleep. Not Tyshaune, no.
Show me.
Nuh-uh.
I'm the
She was
first
like,
one
"Oh,
asleep.
right, I'm the first one asleep." But no, she had her own business.
Mhm.
So God created women to be strong. We can handle this. The single moms out there, you got this. You can do this, but you have to let the emotion go. When I looked at my situation, and again, I'm being very transparent because if you're not transparent, then you can't really have the conversation. I was mad about what? I didn't want to still be in that relationship. So what's the problem?
Nothing.
Right. No,
Me.
it was the pride. It was
Mhm.
the like, well, I'm the one. It was me taking ownership. I'm the one taking care of these kids. I'm the one that's doing this. I'm the one that's going to the doctor's appointment. I'm the one. But I was going to do that anyway. Right? Like, aren't you doing that anyway? When you were
Yeah.
married and your husband was out there working, wasn't you doing that anyway? Wasn't you
Mhm.
the one taking him to the doctor?
Yeah.
Wasn't you the one taking him to practice? Right. So what you getting mad about it for? So stop looking at them.
It's all about control over your emotions.
This is another like conversation. Maybe. Because if
Let
we
us know
talk
what you
too
guys
much,
think.
we talk too much. I'm like, Lily, crazy. No, tell us what your thoughts are about co-parenting. Tell us some of the struggles because it's easy to sit on the couch and really talk about co-parenting and how easy it is to let go of things. It's easy to sit up here and say, hey, go to God and talk to God about it. Um, but I'm here to say that with any situation, I'm a believer that God can work it out. So imagine me, imagine you, imagine us learning how to control our emotions, putting God first, and really identifying why you don't have a good co parenting relationship and what it is that you need to change about yourself. And then we'll see you next time.